Hello YouTube, this is the Super Dave. Bit of an absence, but I'm back with I guess a review of the Threezero Ghost in the Shell major action figure. Real quick, I'm a big fan of the franchise. Honestly, going back to the '90s with the Dark Horse comic, graphic novel, the anime, of course, the movies. Ghost in the Shell 1, Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence. The TV series, Standalone Complex, I've got those on disc. The manga series, Ghost in the Shell 1.5, Ghost in the Shell 2 manga series. Then the littler, the vernacular is escaping me right now. The smaller kind of pocketbook sized manga, which I can't see from here. Or I can see it, but I can't read it from here. Anyway, so I'm a big fan of the franchise, going, like I said, back to the 90s. So I was very excited about the movie. Any kind of complaints or, let's say, controversy aside, I was very excited about the movie, and I really, really liked the movie. I think I saw it 3 times in the theaters. I thought it was phenomenal. So I was pretty excited when they finally put out a 1/6 scale figure. I do have some of the smaller, the Figma series, a Yamato variable motion figure, something like that, from Yamato. That's about 1/8 scale, maybe. A little bit bigger. So I've had, and of course the McFarlane, going back to whenever he released that one. So I've been a fan, and I've had toys before, but I have never owned any of the 1/6 scale from Takara or Medicom. Unfortunately, I would like to have those at some point, and I am I don't know, one of those might be on the horizon. But tonight we're going to talk about the Threezero version. Now the only other thing I own from Threezero are my Fallout Power Armors, and I got the T51 and the T45. So I don't really have any other experience with Threezero as a toy manufacturer or a company beyond those power armors, which are phenomenal. If you haven't seen them or you don't have one, they're an amazing feat of engineering. And one of these days I'm going to do a video of my power armors just to talk about them. So this is my first experience with Threezero. I did see a lot of negativity on the net, as usual. That seems to be what the internet is for, is to gripe about everything. So I was really hesitant to get this, and as you can see, since I'm just now doing a video, I waited a long time. But like with everything else, I decided that I like the franchise enough, and I like toys enough, that I'd probably be really happy with it. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But here we are. This is the exclusive version. Now, I have to say, full disclosure, I did not buy the deluxe version. I'm sorry, the deluxe version, Threezero deluxe version. I pieced this together. I bought this. I bought the deluxe suit and the figure which came in the box. So basically, all that was missing was the normal figure with the armor and the weapons and the head sculpt. Well, I got the head sculpt, but I'll show you how I pieced this together. So basically, I got this, and then I had to buy just the normal version figure separately and put them together, and now I have a full deluxe version. So anyway, so it's got this nice little sticker on there. Nice picture of ScarJo, Ghost in the Shell. We got some. I like the artwork on here. I really do. So you got the photo of ScarJo, but then these are given an artistic rendition of Aramaki and the Geisha bot in the back. Anyway, moving around, you got some foil finish on here. You got, again, the logo, just Major, because we couldn't, I guess, decide on a name in the movie or whatever. But you can see it's kind of got that rainbow sheen to it. It's foil on the box in the back. Shiny foil, kind of iridescent image. Again, we get the logo, the warnings, etc., and again an identical on this side. Top and bottom, Very simple, simplistic, minimal. There's your UPC code. So that's it. That's a box. It doesn't open. There's no folding shell, anything. It doesn't lift off. You pop open this top lid and you pull out the plastic trays. There's no window boxing or anything like that. So the only difference is, and I'm not going to display it or show it to you because it doesn't matter. The only difference between the trays in here and the trays in the normal version, because I do now have both boxes, is there's a third or a very thin tray that fits underneath the regular figure that holds the flattened out uniform. So it obviously doesn't have to be very thick or anything like that, but that holds that civilian uniform nice and flat underneath her and the hands. So there you go. There's the box. We're going to get this out of the way. All right, now we're going to talk about the figures inside. So you can see I do have the normal version, and this is the exclusive, the outfit. It does not come with the body or an extra head. All you're getting is the outfit and the hands. So, like I said, the way I purchased mine, I purchased this entire figure separately, and then I bought a second just normal version, which came with the gun and everything you see right there. So let's talk about, real quick, I guess we'll start with the normal version. So here we go. Now, start with the head sculpt. Obviously, as far as the figure goes, a lot of people were not real happy with this because it does look a lot different than what the prototypes showed us. And mostly that has to do with the paint app. The likeness is, I'll say it's there. It's not the best. I mean, Hot Toys has kind of spoiled us with their Black Widow figures, so we kind of know what a ScarJo head sculpt should look like, and unfortunately, this doesn't quite live up to the same standard as Hot Toys. So I'll leave it at that. It's not a terrible head sculpt. It does look a lot better in person than anything I saw in photos or videos. Just based on that alone, I was like, well, I'm going to have to get another head sculpt. But in person, it's actually decent. And I don't know why that is. I don't know what it is about looking at it with the naked eye in person makes the difference between looking at it on film. But I don't know if it's because you can see the depth or whatever it is. But it does make a difference. I think I've been trying to figure out what the difference is between the prototypes and what we've got here, and I think one of the big differences is that there is less paint. Like there's really no, I don't know if I can get that close. No lashes on the bottom lid, and I think to me, that's one of the biggest off-putting things, is what her eyes just don't look right. And it's partially because there's no kind of eyelashes, or if they are there, they're so faint you can't really see them. So if they'd put some kind of eyeshadow or eyelashes on the bottom lid, I think that would have gone a long way. She's a small figure, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in depth here in a minute. So you get the figure, you get 3 weapons, you get the pistol, and I'm going to take that out in a minute. You get, she is not going to stand up now. Come on, cooperate. You get this big rifle, which I think is what she's using at the end for the tank battle. Not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, there's not even much weathering. The bolt moves back and forth, but it doesn't open or close anything, so you can't, it doesn't really matter whether you have it open or closed. That's about it. I mean, it's very simplistic. But it looks cool, right? Anyway, so there's that. And I'm going to borrow this. I've got regular ScarJo posed with it. You get the sub gun. which I don't remember if it was used by a major or not. It was used by some of the other team, especially when they were rescuing. What was the doctor? The doctor from I can't remember his name. Anyway, we did see that in that gunfight, and this in the movie, this is a shoulder stock that would fold out, and that would be what you're looking at there is the fold out shoulder stock. Unfortunately, on the accessory, it's not going to do that, which is very unfortunate. Now, this does have a removable magazine, which mine are pretty tight, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that out without some tweezers. Alright, there we go. So yeah, removable magazine. Decent detailing and paint on the magazine, the rounds in the mag. This is just a foregrip. It doesn't serve. It's not a magazine or anything like that. So there you have that. There's the submachine gun, and finally the pistol, which was obviously based on a Glock with some futuristic sci-fi greeblies added. This is a great, of the three firearms, this one is far and away the best. This looks awesome. The subtle details and the grip and all the different textures and pieces they added are very screen accurate. I've looked at a lot of pictures of the props, and this looks great. So on this one, the slide does move back. Mine's very tight. So you get the slide moves, the mag will drop. Same thing. It is not the identical magazine to this, even though they are both based on a Glock frame. The magazines are not interchangeable. And the slide slides forward and everything's good to go again. So this is a great looking piece, and this is the piece I typically have her posed with, but I'm going to put that right back in the holster for right now. So there's her firearms. The other thing she comes with is some hands. So for the left, well, let's just go over all of them. We get fists. Now you see they're both different colors because she does have this sleeve on her left hand. So the left hand does have this lighter gray paint apps to it, whereas the right hands are this darker gray. So you get two fists, one for each hand. You get trigger hand, a trigger gun holding trigger finger for the right and left, and those are identical. And then you have just a plain open palm for the right hand only. I'm sorry. And then we have plain open palms for each. Then we have just looks like a gripping hand, but it's not your typical grip. You can see the fingers are a little bit more separated, and it's kind of more of a rectangular grip, which I'm gonna guess is either for the rifle, or maybe they want you to go ahead and use it to grip the sub gun, which that seems to work rather well actually. So maybe that's what it's for, to grip that sub gun. And so we did the trigger, and this unique one, which is kind of hard to see. It's kind of an open palm, but it is for kind of a gripping that handgun, or the submachine gun would work too. And that's how I had her displayed, and I'll show you that here at the end of the video. So you get more left hands than you do right hands, which I thought was kind of peculiar. So you get the fists, one fist each, open palm, trigger hands, and then you get these two shooting stance, and then I guess the submachine gun or gripping hand, just standard gripping hand. So that does it for the accessories for the normal version. I'm going to talk about the figure now and get all these out of the way. And we're just going to sweep them off to the side. Where to begin? Let's just start from the head down. As far as the figure goes, I'm going to pop this armor off real quick. The heads remove ridiculously easy. Like, don't pick it up from the head, man. That they will just come right on and off with almost zero effort. Pop this armor off, and we're going to look at this figure. We've already talked about the head sculpt. Good paint, decent sculpt. It's not the best. It's certainly not the worst. It's passable. I like it. But here's something I didn't notice that it's going to be a little bit hard to see maybe on this figure. So she does have her data ports, I guess, for lack of a better word, on the back of her neck, which is really cool. And if you're looking at these bodies on the internet or from a private seller or something like that, you'll know it's a genuine Motoko or Major body if it's got these data ports. So if you're looking at the body you're buying doesn't have that, somebody's probably pulled a switcheroo on you. So that was really cool. It was a little detail I didn't realize was there. If I'd seen it in the promo material, I did not remember that. So there you have it. I am going to bring over the standard version real quick, just to help me with articulate some differences here. And to do that, I'll pop this jacket off real fast, because I don't want to undress the standard version. She's not easy to dress and undress. Well, I mean, I guess it's not significantly more difficult than any other figure. I just really don't want to do it just for the sake of this video. So I'm going to use my standard version to display what kind of body she's got under here. All right. So, like I was saying, these heads pop on. I mean, I could probably turn her upside down, and if I shook her real hard, the head would come off. I'm actually kind of surprised. Yeah, it's not. I'm kind of surprised it's not just popping right off. There's nothing to it. I mean, they don't come with any stands, so even if, just standing here, if she were to lose her balance and fall over, that head would go rolling. And ask me how I know. So anyway, here we can see the body. It's got these seamless arms, which I don't think I've had another female figure with seamless arms where it was just the arms. It was either no, I haven't. No. Well, I take that back. I do have a Wonder Woman. And actually it's not my Wonder Woman, it's my daughter's, so I don't have a whole lot of personal experience with it because she doesn't let me mess with it. But so the range of movement with these arms, it's pretty decent. It doesn't look as good as, of course, a Fison does when it gets all folded up, because ultimately it's just a sleeve over whatever kind of armature is under the arm. So you can hear it ratcheting in there maybe. I don't know if the microphone's picking that up. But it is, it's clicking back and forth. So, I understand. I don't know. I don't think this was the best choice for a body. And I'll show you why. Now the shoulders and everything, they work pretty much as, normal. Now there's also a the rubber overlay. So she's got a rubbery upper torso and kind of a rubbery lower torso. So it's very soft. The abdomen is pretty hard, but the entire upper torso is pretty soft. So here's my issues with that. It makes sense for this outfit, right? It looks good. It makes sense. She's got her arms, neck, shoulders exposed. She's wearing a tank top. You want her to look good, right? I mean, you want it to be aesthetically pleasing, and if you got a bunch of joints everywhere, that really doesn't do it. I don't have any of my other figures handy to display that. But let's think about the dancer version Harley Quinn, right? You got elbow joints, you got a massive shoulder joint, which we do here too, but I'm more forgiving of a shoulder joint than elbow joints. And anyway, so I understand why you would want seamless arms, rubberized arms in a figure outfit with an outfit like this. However, for somebody who's in like a BDU or battle dress or some kind of uniform like this where she's covered head to toe, I mean, other than her fingertips, it doesn't make any sense because our range of movement now on this quote-unquote action figure is severely limited. So not only are we hindered by the natural thickness of the rubberized arm, now you add the shirt on top of it, and we're getting, that's about 90 degrees. Maybe a shade inside 90 degrees of bend there. And, shoulder articulation, it's still in the ballpark. I mean, it's in the realm of acceptable, I'd say. But you know how I am about elbow articulation. If you've watched almost any of my other videos, I have something to say, sometimes a lot of things to say about double jointed elbows, and we do have it in this figure. However, it's just too restricted to take advantage of it. So I can only imagine what it would be if we had those single ball joint type, or ball joint type elbow. I guess you'd call it a ball joint. It's not really a ball joint, but you all know what I'm talking about. Like most of the male arms are coming out with now, that like the Punisher's arms, which I don't have him nearby, but you all know what I'm talking about. So that's, despite it being a double jointed elbow, that's basically the range of motion we're getting out of it is about 90 degrees on either side. So, not the worst thing in the world, but again, for a figure that's in a utilitarian type uniform, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, moving on, we've seen what kind of torso and arms she's got. The legs are very standard legs. Same that are on, I think, any other, I'm going to say non-Hot Toys female figure, like my Asmus Arwen. I've got the Art Toys Judge Anderson. Same kind of knee. Oh, the Threezero Prescience. Same thing. It's just She's smaller than all the rest of those, but it's a nice double jointed knee. It's hard to tell with this armor on her, but whoops, popped the foot off. She does have decent leg articulation. Now, the only thing that's hindering her leg articulation is the uniform. It's pretty form fitting, pretty tight. So there's only so much give trying to, especially at the hips, move it in apart or too much. Now, if you worked with it, you could get it there, especially if you pull and tug a little bit here and there. There's I think, a very good range of motion in the hips and knees. And the ankles are pretty typical ankles. It's the feet go right into a ball peg, which gives you great range of movement on the ankles. And then she's got these little sock type things that you can. They're fabric and elastic. Slide them down over the to hide the ball joint after you get her posed however you want. Despite her awkward upper body, the ankle pegs and knees and hips are very tight, and she can hold some really dynamic poses, which I'm honestly a little bit impressed with. I do like photographing my figures, so I get them down and I pose them and I bend them and I mess with them, I play with them, I turn, I push the range of their articulation to see what I can do and see what kind of poses I can get out of them. And I'm pretty impressed with what we got here, in spite of the very tight-fitting pants that kind of, you got to work with a little bit, but she'll get there in the end. And then, like I said, the joints are tight enough that she balances really well, and she'll hold some of these deeper action poses that you can get her into, which again is good because she doesn't come with a freaking stand, which I don't know how in 2019, or I think what was this figure released in 2018, I don't know how in this day and age we'll say you don't throw in a stand. I mean, they're like $2 on Amazon or something. You can't tell me they're that expensive to manufacture. So drop the ball on that one, Threezero. Anyway, let's move on. So we're going to talk about her accessories. We've talked about I guess not really her accessories. Let's talk about, I guess we'd call it the uniform. So the shirt, it's Velcro, which, let's pan up just a hair. There we go. Velcro, nice wide Velcro field, so it's not going to be pulling itself apart. Here again, we can see the type of torso. It's very soft, but it's just laying over whatever else is there. Now, notice the shirt, we'll say I don't know what you'd call this, the cod piece, for lack of a better word, is connected to the shirt with Velcro. It's pretty cool. So if you don't want her to display her with this, whoops, I guess you couldn't see that. You can just unvelcro it. It's just velcroed right into the inside of the shirt, and then you Velcro the shirt together and it hangs just like that. So, neat little, I don't know what you'd call that, but like I said, if you don't want to have it on there, you just pop it off, do her back up, and there she is. Much cleaner look if you want that. Now the belt is adjustable. You can see details on the belt. Looks fantastic. I can't remember. It's a one-piece buckle, so to get it off, you you got to undo the entire belt, which really, I mean, you don't have to undo it, I guess. You just loosen it enough so that you could slide it down her hips. But if you wanted to give it some style or something, loosen it up, it could ride a little bit lower on her hips, or vice versa. The gun could hang lower, give it a more stylistic look to it. So having said that, there is the holster for the Glock, or whatever. I don't know what they're calling it in the movie. I only remember the manga designations, like the Saburo and stuff like that. So the holster, it's rubber, nice and squishy and soft. So you're not going to break it. Does have this leg piece on there, which is hard plastic, and then these straps are properly adjustable, and so you could tighten those up and have that sitting lower on her, and just tuck those back in behind, which would be an easy fix. The other thing that's on here is the spare magazine, which she only has one, and in the movie I think sometimes we see it worn right in the crack of her ass, basically. But in the armor, it doesn't fit there, and you got to move it over to the side. Now it is removable, and it's identical to the other one. I have not tried to put it in the pistol, however, so I guess we could do that right now. Just for, for posterity's sake, we'll say we did it. So let's pop that other one out. And nope, that is too tight. That's interesting. I'm kind of surprised. Except I wonder if it fits that one. I bet that's what it is. I bet it's a spare for the, even though they should be the same. Alright, take that one out. And that's the spare out of her belt. Yep, that fits. So there you have it. It's a spare. It's an actual spare to the little submachine gun. And it just pops right back in there. And this is the same thing. It's a rubbery little thing. So you're not gonna. You might tear it if you're being really rough with it, but it's pretty sturdy, and I've rotated it front back, and I've had her displayed with the armor, and I've had her doing all kinds of poses with the armor on, and I haven't had any problems at all with that rubber or plastic, whatever it's actually made of. I haven't had any problems with it. So a good fit right there. Quality material. Let's put this back in before I lose it. I'm going to drop the pistol. Well, I guess we can leave it out for a minute. So there's the belt. Like I said, if you wanted to, you could have it slung low, or you could go ahead and move it back up, whatever preference style-wise, but not a real buckle. So moving down, you can see the detail in the pants. Everything's weathered. It's got this really great weathering, like she's been in that tank fight. It looks really good. I do like it a lot. So let's talk about the knee pads. These are attached to the pant. So don't go trying to pull them off, or it's not Velcro under there or anything like that. Oh, daggone it. There goes her foot. Those are actually on there. Which is part of that limited range of motion in the knee, is because of that knee pad that we're getting there, which they look good, but they kind of limit your range. So you got to keep it up high above the bend of the knee. If you get it down low, it's gonna hinder the pant from moving and flexing around the bend of the knee. So keep it up high. The shin guards these are proper buckles. So if you've got tiny little, here's what I use. These are like jewelry, for jewelry making, needle nose, but those are round, so they're not going to damage your figure. They're not going to scratch them up, and they are perfect for undoing tiny little clasps. So you just squeeze and they'll pop right out. So I'm not going to do that right now, but go get yourself a pair of these. Hobby Lobby. They don't even have a name on them. They're like $5 or something. They're inexpensive. They're wonderful for tiny little clasps, but also for grasping the ends of straps and cables and anything like that. And they don't have, since they're rounded, they're not going to snag the material or anything like that. So go get a pair like right now if you don't have any already. So anyway, those are the shin guards. So you do need to pull these tight. They are not velcroed on, or I keep popping this dang foot off. Not velcroed on or anything like that, so they will move around the shin as you're manipulating her, which that's okay. We've already talked about the ankles. Again, it's a ball point or a ball joint, and you get this sock that slides down over it, so you get a lot of movement in the feet. Now you've got, I don't remember quite what she had on in the movie, like it's been a minute since I've looked at some production stills or anything like that, to see like the screen worn costume or anything like that. I don't know if she was wearing a boot or if they were more of a tennis shoe, but these are more of a tennis shoe. And again, they've got some really great weathering on them. Nice aggressive tread. You got the Threezero and the copyright. This stupid thing keeps falling out. Of course, now that I took it out, it's falling out all the time. Wrist peg's trying to come apart again. So that is pretty much what you get. We're going to put the armor on her now. So here's the armor. It's two pieces. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not. I was thinking of the off-brand where the neck piece was separate. But so this is one piece, the cummerbund, just wraps around the front, and you got those two Velcro fields right there. Also some heavy, heavy weathering on this. But here's something cool, and I'm going to show you. It's got the little Section 9 insignia on the collar, which I meant to show you this earlier. The Major also has on her sleeve. It's great Section 9, and it's kind of a plastic or rubbery patch on the fabric. So it's got a little bit of a gloss to it, but it's a good sheen. It's very cool. A little attention to detail you might not have otherwise been looking for or expected. Come on, stand up there. There you go. So, yeah, you got to take her head off, and maybe that's one of the reasons these heads are so easy to get on or off, is because you're constantly, if you wanted to change the clothes back and forth, but also because getting this armor, there's no way it would fit over the head. So, you just pop it over and put the Velcro on, and of course it's going to hide her data port on the back of her neck. Just pop her head back on, and there she is in full battle rattle. I'll just let this so you can see what I mean right here. You get this piece over her lower back, which really interferes with the spare magazine unless you want it sitting real low on her butt, which just does not make any sense. So you move that around to the side, and it fits on the side real well, and it looks good too. I mean, it looks appropriate right there. But you can see, even with the belt loose and slung low, there's plenty of room for waist, hip movement, and whatever she's going to get into. So there you have that. Real quick, I want to address, so this hand, she wears this sleeve. The sleeve is separate from the uniform, so you can pull the hand out and sleeve comes off. It's a separate piece. So if for whatever reason you wanted to, or maybe you just wanted some generic, Section 9 soldier or something like that, it's not quite the same because we've got the cuff here. There's really no cuff on this side, and so it kind of just abruptly ends, and it's been pushed up and matted down by the sleeve. But a little hot water, I'm sure that would come right out, and might even fit normally. I can't tell if maybe it's a hair shorter. Actually, it looks like it is just a 1/4 inch shorter than the other sleeve because of that. But anyway, rubbery sleeve. So if you wanted to do a body swap or something like that, you could. It'd be no problem. And then it just slides back on. It's rubber. There's the wrist right back in there. And just pop the joint back in there. So that's that. And then it looks like her, I think I might have put that on the wrong way. I'll have to look at a picture. Anyway, there you go. So that is our armored version. And I'll show you real quick, the way I like to have her posed is with the sidearm, the pistol. And you can see that hand. Now, this is not an easy pose to have because of what I was talking about earlier. The not only the rubber but the suit really wants to keep these hands apart. So you got to work with it to get that pose. And I've managed it a couple times. There you go. So she won't be going on the shelf like that, but it illustrates, for my purposes, what I'm talking about, and you can kind of see how that hand works, and is a proper two-handed weapon grip, sidearm pistol. So anyway, there is the regular version. So real quick, we're going to go over the exclusive editions and what all she came with. So I'm going to go ahead and get the normal version out of the way. The armored version, I guess we could call her. I'm going to get her out of the way. She's had her fun in the sun. And now we're going to talk about this. So like I said, I did buy this figure as you see it in the box. No other accessories, no nothing. I guess they kept the normal version and all the guns and just wanted to sell this part of it. So lucky me. She also, of course, comes with the jacket, which I'm going to put on here in just a minute. But again, I took it off to display what her arms look like. She's also got the data port on the back, which is much more prominent and visible on this version, obviously. So something I didn't mention on the armored version is, again, this rubbery suit, this rubbery overlay, doesn't do anything for her neck articulation. And again, I'm not real sure I have other figures that have this kind of, I mean, I might. It's been a while since I've messed with some of them, or, maybe I even purchased them before I was paying attention. But, I mean, there's articulation there, obviously. It doesn't stay in place. It always returns to neutral. So, kind of a bummer. Um, let's put the jacket back on real quick. There's really nothing else to see. You can see the true range of the knees and hip articulation. These pants are stretchy. They do have this, I don't know what that is. It's not pleather, like is always flaking on all the other. It doesn't look like it anyway. But it's a spandexy, stretchy type material. So we get a lot better idea of what her articulation looks like with this, with these pants on anyway. So you can see what the figure underneath is capable of. And again, I'm sure it's a pretty generic figure. Just I don't have any other Threezeros to say this is what they're all like. I do have Scully on the way. She should be here next week, so stay tuned for my Scully video. Even though I'm sure there's some out there, I'll be doing mine. And hopefully Mulder shortly thereafter. So I'm going to put the jacket on. It's a great jacket. Let's look at it real quick. It's got this bright inner liner like a real flight jacket would. Non-working zipper on the side, but you got this nifty little nylon zipper pull over here, pencil pocket, etc. And it's elastic for whatever reason. The sleeves are elastic to help it bunch up. And it's all, this nylon looking, authentic looking thing. It's a great material for the scale to make it look, I don't know, authentic in 1/6 scale, I guess. So because of that elastic and, of course, the rubber arms, like any other rubberized thing, it can be a challenge to get clothes on. Here we go. So that fits right on nicely, and these fabric cuffs, they're elastic as well, like what you'd probably find on a real jacket. Then you slide the wrist back on there, or hands back into the wrist, I should say. And there she is. Pop the head back on. And there's the Major in her civilian city clothes, or whatever you want to call it. So let's see. We've got the jacket. Fits well. I really like the look of that, I really wanted the deluxe version just for this. And I was tempted to not bother with the armored version, but, again, I'm a big enough fan that I figured I was going to enjoy it either way. So we have the jacket. It's pretty standard, just gray tank top underneath, very light gray. And then these black pants, which have, different materials throughout. So here in the saddle, it's kind of the same material as we have here. It's kind of shiny. Little bit of stretch to it, not a whole lot. 4-way stretch. Most of the stretch is here in the fabric part of it, where it's a nice stretchy, soft material. Then here on the back and the knees, it's kind of got, I don't remember what you call that, but it's ribbed and expands. They're very form-fitting all the way down. And then we got these boots, which I think these are phenomenal. These are great. It's a great sculpt. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it too well. We'll try. So it's a black boot. I mean, as far as paint apps go, you got the zippers painted. It's a pretty glossy, leather-like finish. You got the buckles. But it is a unique, I guess maybe not, kind of like a tanker's boot where it's got the front of the laces covered up. But it's kind of a mid-length boot, mid-calf, not what I'd call, or, some combat boots go a lot further up the leg than these do. and so the pant fits right in. There's it's a socket, and so it's a solid shoe that the obviously has the little ball receptor inside. Now, just like the head, these shoes come off ridiculously easy. Ridiculously easy. So you want to be real careful holding on, or not holding on, I should say. But anytime I've got her out and I'm moving her around, two things come off: the head and the feet. And you've seen that already with the armor version, how often her foot kept popping off. So there you have that. She includes some standard hands of her own. We get left and right fists. Nothing real special about that. Just a couple fists. Left and right open palms. Or relaxed hands, I guess. And the other one is on her. And then left and right gun grip, trigger finger hands. So left and right. And there you have that. And that's pretty much the extent of the exclusive accessories. It's just the clothes and hands. No extra weapons, no extra head, no extra body. Like I said, I got lucky and I bought this complete unit completely separate. So I ended up with a second head sculpt and the second body, which, like we said, has the data port on it on the back, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to figure out how I can work that into some of the photography and make that the focal point is her data port. But again, you know, I gotta say, like, just doing this video and glancing over at the screen and seeing what I'm capturing on video, I'm liking this head sculpt more and more. I mean, just in the 45, 50 odd minutes I've been talking about these, I'm seeing them in different light and different perspectives, different poses, and I'm like, okay, there she is. There is ScarJo. There is the Major. So I guess even in the time I've done this video, this figure has grown on me a lot more than it already had. And I was already excited about having it. I'm glad I purchased it. I would, if I didn't have it, I would still buy it. If for some reason I lost this one, or, you know, this would get replaced if something happened. And for whatever reason, my collection, something happened to it, I would definitely replace this. Could it be better? Yes. I think we can say that about a lot of our figures. Whether it's articulation or sculpt or paint or something. I mean, there's always room for improvement, I believe. But having said that, doesn't necessarily mean a figure's bad if it doesn't have everything you want on it. So I do like this figure quite a lot, and I'm really excited about setting up and doing some photography with her. Whatever. But I will say this, I do plan on doing a Fison body swap on one or both of them, and if I'm getting one to make sure it's going to fit. It's going to be one of them new smaller sized Fisons or TB Leagues. I'm not sure which size I need, because these are small. These are ridiculously small. I don't have the VTS or was it VTS Furiosa, which I also heard was incredibly small, especially as compared to other 6th scale figures. I suspect it's got to be the same thing. the major is very, very small. And again, this is my first Threezero human figure, so I don't know if this is typical of Threezero or if, like I said, I've got Scully coming in a week. When I do my Scully video, I'll definitely throw the major up next to her, and we'll see how they compare. I'm sure somebody's done that already, but if they have, I haven't seen it. But we'll definitely get to that when I do my video. But again, she's very small, and I am going to do a body swap. I'm just not sure which. Probably just because it'll be easier. I don't know. See, I was going to do the civilian version, or the bonus, or not, deluxe suit. But now I'm thinking, I don't know, really don't do a whole lot of posing. I mean, aesthetically, I guess it would be a good idea. But I would say probably my most dynamic posing is going to be for the armored version, which would benefit from the range of movement on a TB League Vice and Body more than that thing. I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I'm gonna have to think a lot about that. But I'm gonna do the body swap, and I'll definitely throw up a follow-up video to show you how that works out. And just for just to illustrate the size disparity of these Threezero bodies, I'm gonna show you at least one of each of the other manufacturer female figures that I own, and leave them up here hopefully I'll have room for them all, just to show you. She is a very small figure, which is going to make, I think, it might make finding that perfect TB League body a challenge. So here is the Threezero prescience. And you can already see, I'm going to have to do a little panning here. See if we can get some better light. So you can already see that is a significant difference there at their heads. Yeah. That's we're going to leave her up. So that's, you can see how big of a difference that is. I mean, it's just, she's about up to her jaw, I would say. Up to the chin jawline there. Between the Threezero and the Threezero prescience. Let's see if I can reach. Oh, here's my Hot Toys prisoner Harley Quinn. Bare feet. Oh, we're gonna have some balancing issues here. Come on, there you go. Move them back a little bit. Whoops, I'm sorry. That ankle is not going to cooperate on the prescience. So I might need to throw her on her stand. Anyway, so, yep. Alright, so we're going to use some stands here, and I think you'll be able to tell that even with some generic stands, the differences are going to be pretty marked. Now, as good as the armored version stands up, this one does not. And obviously those boots, you got to really put some bend and balance into those knees and hips to get her to balance well. So we've got, again, pretty big size difference, you know, and that's her with her right foot on the stand. It's not, I don't know. I mean, look at that. The major, her shoulder is right about Hartley's breast, which it's not being illustrated really well because my camera is slightly lower than the figure. Let's see if we can. That is, I want to see if I can get the camera lens at about shoulder height. This is about shoulder height to Harley. Looking straight on, as straight as I can get it. The lens is looking right at shoulder height with Harley. So you can see the height difference is significant. It looks even, now that I'm looking at the camera real quick, it's even more pronounced than the angle I had before, which was looking slightly up. This is it's about as straight as I can get it. So you can see how much different that is with her on a stand. It's a pretty big difference. Just to illustrate this even further, we're going to do a couple others. And let's see if I can reach them. Here we go. Here is my Asmus Arwen. Not Arwen, I'm sorry. The other female elf, I'm sorry. My mind just went blank. It is Tariel, yeah. Again, just on her very flat Lord of the Rings stand. She's pretty much same height as the other three, but then you got the major, and that's the major on standing on the stand. So again, a pretty big difference. Now, I would say those are pretty standard sized. One of the noticeably smaller ones in my collection is the Art Figures Anderson, not the, was it VTS, Virtual Toys? This is not the Virtual Toys Anderson. It's a smaller one. And I think we can see, I'm going to get her out of here because she's the same size as these others. There's a pretty standard height with these figures, but we can see Anderson is ever so slightly smaller. And I'm going to go ahead and put the major on this stand, just standing normally, and I'm going to pan back here just a little bit to show you. She's on a stand, or I guess I could just pan down. Standard stand, not any higher than any of the others, and we're going to put her side to side. So I'm going to move Tariel just off to the side, Harley, and put Motoko in the middle, and Anderson, again the Art Figures Anderson here. Now I'm going to get her off the stand. She is a much closer size while still being larger than Motoko, or the major, the Threezero major. So you can see, this is probably the smallest figure I have, and she's still noticeably bigger than the major. So compared to both these girls, let's see if I can get her right in between without. dropping and messing everything up. So you can kind of see she is right in the middle between a Hot Toys and the Threezero Major is the Art Figures Anderson. So there you have that. And last but not least, I'm going to break out a Fison body. I want to say it is an S23. I think it's the large bust athletic version that's only been out like a year or two. So it's a recent Fison body. Obviously, kit bashed onto my sideshow Harley Quinn. And these Fisons are generally the tallest bodies I have. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I have room to fit all 5 of them in frame. Maybe. So even with that, I have no stand for Harley. She's much taller than Anderson, even on her stand. The 2 Harleys, yeah, one's barefoot and one's in combat boots, but there's at least a ½ inch height difference. The top of the heads, which, I'm sorry, I'm holding her up. But I wonder if we could, there, back to back, you can tell that's a pretty good height difference. So again, these Fisons are the tallest figures I've got, and when you compare them to the Threezero, these Threezero are tiny, tiny, tiny. She's not going to stand up. There we go. So doesn't help. She's got to slouch a little bit, but you can tell what a difference there is between a normal size Fison, the true 1/6 scale, and then this Threezero. Just massive difference there. Massive. Top of her head is right at where the top of the silicone would be at her neck. So right where you would put the head on the Fison body is where the top of the Threezero head meets. So there you have it. I mean, they're tiny, tiny little. What'd I tell you? Don't grab it by the head. Tiny, tiny little bodies. I don't know why they did that. I'm pretty sure I've seen ScarJo comparisons, especially as far as like the Avengers and her compared to what's his name, Chris Evans, and their height difference. So if memory serves, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Scarlett Johansson is a fairly small lady. So maybe that would serve to illustrate why they chose this very short body, or maybe that's just what they got cheapest. Who knows? I really don't. Don't even pretend to understand what goes into manufacture and distribution of action figures. I have no idea. No earthly idea. I buy the things and I enjoy the things. Beyond that, I can't say I know anything about it. But again, very, very small body compared to all these other ladies. I do have the other Harleys, but I'm sure that their height is close enough that it wouldn't matter. There's no sense in getting them all down. But there you have it, man. I mean, just a really, really small body. So doing that body swap might take some trial and error. Anyway, there you have it. Thanks for watching. That was my review and commentary, I guess, on the Threezero Ghost in the Shell Major Or as we all know her, Major Kusanagi. What was her name in the movie? Major Killian, Mira Killian. Okay, whatever. But we did get to Motoko at the end of the movie, so all is right in the world. Too bad there probably will never be a sequel. Thanks a lot, internet trolls and haters. Anyway, there you have it. If you're a fan of the movie, fan of the franchise, I'd say grab this figure. Other than that, I really don't see it holding any kind of value to anybody. It's a good looking figure, and like I said, I like it more and more. The more I look at it, different lighting, different poses, I'm seeing a lot of potential in this sculpt for some good photos. It's just got to be lit right, just like anything else. So if you're inclined to, follow me on Instagram, _SuperDave_, and there are links to that here and there in my bio, probably right down here. Give me a follow. Thanks for watching. Check back again real soon. Like I said, I've got Threezero's X-Files Scully figure coming on, I think the 7th I'm going to get it. So hopefully I'll be able to get a video up that week, depending on my work schedule. And we'll see how Scully compares to the Major. And I'll be doing videos of random other figures just to talk about them and jam a little bit about them. So I'd appreciate you tuning in, giving a watch, giving a comment. And if you like what you see, go ahead and follow. Other than that, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.